I'm super excited. We're going to be checking out a really good cologne today from Fragrance World, which is a brand that's been popping up and emerging here and there. And they've been putting out some great colognes, first and foremost. A couple that I featured here briefly, Fragrance World Star Nebula, which is a pure malt cologne. And then we also had Imperium, which is an Elysium cologne. Now, with a lot of their presentations, they're straight up going for the throat of the original fragrance as well. Star Mint Nebula was a little bit not looking like a Mugler Angel Mint bottle. They did have the star on it, though. They were trying, but with their Elysium one, yeah, big time cologne in the bottle as well. And I've said it before, but if I were just to do this, you'd probably think it's Elysium just, from a distance. And they're continuing to do the same thing. Not only are they putting out really good quality clones, but the bottles themselves are kind of holding up. So let's show you this one. It is what you think it is, in fact, a Dior Homme Intense cologne. How many Dior Homme Intense clones do we have? I don't think very many, if not hardly any at all. Dior Homme Intense, one of the absolute best designer fragrances ever created. This is the 2011 version here that I have, that I'm holding up. They re-released it, and, it continues to still be a scent that is highly respected in the community. Basically, probably one of the first things people think about when they think of iris. I would say this and Prada L'Homme. Just like cardamom, L'Ennui de l'Homme, that correlation. This is the main one for iris. And so it's also expensive, even at discounters, you're up over $100 for it. This one, however, Parfum Homme Intense by Fragrance World is nowhere near the price, less than half, around 30 to 40. It's actually a little bit hard to get right now. I did purchase it. This company probably doesn't know I exist. I purchase pretty much everything, the clones. Sometimes Fragrance Buy will send some to me for free, but more often than not, 99% of the time, I'm buying these with my own money to see if they're any good or not, and we're going to dive into this one today. A little bit hard to get right now, like I had mentioned. If you want to have a chance to get this or any other rare, hard-to-find fragrance, cologne, or otherwise anything in general, hit the first link down below, sign up to my mailing list. Anytime something good pops up, I send out an email, and that will also include clones like this once they become available easier. Let's dive right in. So, how does it smell? It smells like Dior Homme Intense. We'll just leave it at that right off the rip here. When you first spray it, you immediately know what they're trying to achieve. If the bottle didn't tell that to you already, the scent definitely backs it up. One difference that I noticed right away, though, immediately, and this is coming from someone who has a lot of time with Dior Homme Intense, and I have a lot of experience with this one, been wearing it for a while now, is the opening of the cologne here, Parfum Homme Intense, is a little bit more fruity and fresh. Slightly. Now, one thing that I think a lot of us forget about, myself included sometimes, is that there is a pear note listed in Dior Homme Intense. I mean, go back and look. Maybe it completely, eluded you. Maybe you never saw it, but yeah, it's there. And in the real deal, you don't pick up on it nearly as much. You pretty much get overwhelmed with the iris and ambrette right off the rip, right? This one, however, you do get a little bit more of a fruitiness, a little bit more of a lavender freshness when it first opens up. That's one of the differences that you'll notice right away. The longer it sits down, though, on your skin, the more it starts to get smooth and silky and creamy, and the iris ambrette really starts to come into play, and that's when it really settles into that Dior Homme Intense smell. But definitely off that opening, though, that's going to be one of the key giveaways. So I would say, if you have any sort of experience with the Dior, if you were blindfolded and someone sprayed the opening of each, you would be able to tell which one is which for sure. Now give it to someone on the street, someone who is not a fragrance enthusiast at all, and they probably wouldn't be able to tell. But most of you watching this video probably would be able to. It's not a bad thing, it's just something that I wanted to make you aware of, is the opening is slightly different. Not enough to where it's an issue, but it's still very much a clone. But really what this one still falls into is that sweet iris and ambrette creaminess, and also it does have that signature lipsticky texture. And that is one of the main points of contention with the Dior. That lipsticky smell, the makeup bag smell. That's one of the things that get people, you know, and oftentimes Dior Homme Intense is either a love it or hate it, not a whole lot in between. And a lot of what is going to make people hate it is that lipsticky smell. So if you were looking for a clone that didn't have that, this is not going to be it, because they even got that particular texture and smell down to a T with this also. For me, I like everything that Dior Homme Intense has to offer, including that makeup bag lipsticky smell. I think it adds to the experience. I don't mind it, and I also don't think it smells like a makeup bag or lipstick at all. Maybe in the beginning I thought that more, but now after smelling even more things than this and a whole bunch of other crazy weird stuff, this isn't so bad. And so I think for a lot of you guys who are truly into the Dior, you will appreciate this one because it does get those small little nuances down as well. This one also might confuse people because, yeah, the bottle is definitely looking more like Dior Homme Intense. And another thing that I should give them credit for is the coloration of the juice is also close. Again, I'm holding up an older bottle of Dior Homme Intense. It's slightly darker. This probably is even more spot on to newer bottles. So pretty cool. But what I was getting back to is it's called Parfum Homme Intense. Homme Intense. Maybe people would think it's a Dior Homme Parfum clone, but it is not. So don't get it twisted. Don't see Parfum and think it's Dior Homme Parfum. Definitely not. Completely different. DHP is in a whole different realm than even Dior Homme Intense. Leathery, oudy, rosy, of course iris, but it's heavier and sweeter and just everything amped up. That's not this. So when it comes down to it, if you're looking for an affordable alternative to Dior Homme Intense, this is going to be it right here. Maybe even some would say a hint of Valentino Uomo Intense. Maybe you could stretch and say you get a little bit of a leathery feel. Maybe you could say that some of that freshness off the opening gives you more of a Uomo Intense feel. And I would agree with that as well. But to me, still leans more in the Dior direction than anything. That opening, though, could sway it over that way just for a little while. And we'll talk about performance here. We have an eau de parfum concentration, and it's been doing pretty good on my skin consistently. Been testing it here in this spring weather, which has been more cool than anything recently. And so on my skin, it's been right around the 8-hour mark. Not awful, not bad, not amazing either. I mean, it's pretty good for the price, but it's not going to be to the level of the Dior. You know, the Dior has really good performance, and it will go for a long time. It'll settle down to a skin scent towards the end, but it'll keep on going. Not quite to that level, but very close. And again, when it comes down to price point, which is the main driving factor here, being that it's a clone, I really can't complain. Quality is really good on this one as well. Now you can tell there is a quality difference between the Dior and the Fragrance World clone, you know, and that's nothing to be surprised about. You're going to have that with every clone. When you start cloning these, you know, expensive premium designers and all the way up into niche scents, you can start to see the price difference there in terms of its quality. It's not to say that it smells cheap. To me, it actually smells a little bit better than a lot of other things in this price point. You know, again, price is going to be all over the place. Who knows what it's going to be when it comes more easily available in the market. But I mean, this can easily hang with stuff that's in the $40 range, no problem. To me, it doesn't smell cheap or synthetic in the slightest bit. Really pretty impressive, actually. Definitely better than I thought it was going to be. You know, I saw the picture online before I ordered it, and I'm like, yeah, that's definitely a Dior Homme Intense clone, or at least they're cloning the bottle. Let's hope the scent is a clone of that. You know, I was being hopeful for it because there aren't a ton of clones of this. And I was thinking, you know, it's maybe going to be somewhat close. Maybe it's going to be a little bit cheapish. I don't know, but this has exceeded my expectations. I've spent quite a bit of time with it, been obsessing over it. Come down here and I just smell it just off the bottle because honestly, it left me pretty shocked. That's going to do it for me, guys. Parfum Homme Intense by Fragrance World. Happy to see a DHI clone. Definitely needed one. You know, this stuff's expensive. It makes it in my winter videos often, and now I have a more affordable alternative that I can offer to you guys if you do want to save some money. Again, right now, a little bit tough to get. I apologize, but I wanted to bring it to you so that way you could start looking out for it if you have the chance to buy one. Gets my stamp of approval. But again, if you just want to not have to do a whole lot of researching for yourself and you just want to be notified when this does become available, First link down below, mailing list. We'll get you taken care of anything. Dior Homme Parfum, when that comes in stock, I send out an email. Anything that you can think of that's rare or hard to find, I notify you. Completely free service. You'll thank me later. Thank you guys so much for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy. We'll see you tomorrow with another one. Take care.